Joe here for another unannounced video. I was hoping to do a Sunday night bomb run, but the game that I was waiting for, which I announced was a World War II game, one of my favorite battles, new game, which I'm still not going to say which one it is, still in the mail. However, I received another game, one of those Kickstarters, I don't know if it's happened to you, that didn't take very long. So you're interested in it, and I've seen it also. I saw it at the Bellota.com. But we have some people here today. We have Harold Demi, 1942. We have Excelsior. We have Eric from Eric's Table Napoleonic Battles. We got Stephen. We got New York Raider fan. And Tony's Board Life is here also. Karsten Engelman, welcome. We have David M. And I think, let me see, we still got some more people. We got Eric C. Oh, we got one of my favorite handles, Bend Over. DDLOD is here also. And Rob Arrieta is here. Trent Turner. Trent, you won one of the giveaways, I remember. And Texie Gander 5. So, and of course, my namesake, Joe. Joe's here. And St. Louis Keith. Keith, did you get the game? I think you did, right? Yeah. Yeah, you wrote to me about it. So one of our more recent winners. Okay, so this is going to be a pure unboxing. Basically, I've just opened the game up. I cracked the shrink wrap and I started reading the rules, but I've read about 3 pages of the rules. But enough of what I read prompted me to say, let's do an unboxing, because I think this is something new, refreshing. This is Saigon 75. This is a game that I saw at the Bellota.con this year. I didn't get to interview anyone in relation to this game, but this is by Nuts Publishing. You got the logo there, designed by Jean-Phillipe, Barcus, and Pascal Toupy. And I hope I didn't massacre those French names, and if I did, pardon my Puerto Rican French. So this is a game about the swallowing up of Vietnam by the North Vietnamese after the U.S. left in 1975. And what I like about this game is this is the first game of a series of low to medium complexity games which have sides that are asymmetrical, and games that you're going to spend more time playing them than reading the rules. You know what I mean, right? So let's take a look at the back of the box. Okay, so here we have the back of the box. So on the top part, you have a summary there, narrative, and it tells you the historical background. It's a 2-player game. One player controls the communists, the North Vietnamese, the other player, and that includes the North Vietnamese army and the Viet Cong, and the southern player controls the forces of the Republic of South Vietnam. The game lasts 8 turns, and the aim of the North Vietnamese player is to control Saigon province, while the opposing player has to try to retain the control of Saigon. And this is a game that has event cards. I don't think it's a card-driven game, but it has event cards. And then it has custom battle dice, which we will see also to resolve battles. And here we have a sample of the map there. So you can see a sample of the map, the cards, and it has wooden pieces also. So, you know, we're seeing more wooden games, but I like wood, especially when it's not just a wooden cube and everybody is a wooden cube of a different color. Here you have different shapes, and they're really nice. They're embossed, so it's a very elegant game. So let's back off here. Here we have the box. The box is a regular 2-inch box, standard type box. Nothing glorious about it, but it's a good box. It's a nice box. You have the picture there of a lady there, Vietnamese lady. You have a tank with the flag there of the of North Vietnam, I believe that is, or is that the Viet Cong? I don't know. I'm not a big Vietnam guy, but let's open the box and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so we have a rule book, and the rule book is glossy. You'll be taking a look at it. It's not very long. It has 20 pages, full color. There's also a playbook, which is shorter. The playbook has some historical information, and I think it also has an example of play, which also has prompted me to do something with this game that I think I'll be doing, and I've been doing more recently. Here we have some promotion by Nuts Publishing. 300, that's a game that I think is already out. So that's a game also published by Spanish publisher Dracuideas. Nineveh, that's a game that I did an interview. I interviewed the boss at Nuts, and I just my memory just went out on his name, and so I'll remember. And I interviewed Scott Moores on Port Arthur. This is a small game that presents a very interesting situation, also asymmetrical. You have the Japanese and the Russians fighting in China. Well, not China really. It's fighting in Russia, that in Siberia, and the Japanese have the Russians really by the neck. The Russians have that fleet that had to sail like half the world to get there and got late, and got destroyed. So these are 4 games that they have in their arsenal. Urban Operations, which already published, Italia 1917. The Farewell to Arms. This is a game that's been in their coming up list for a long time. So that one, don't know if that is coming anytime soon. Stalingrad Roads, if it's a Stalingrad game, it's also interesting. And Fitna, this is global warfare in the Middle East, modern, and I think this is out already. So this is a little nice card with their games. And we also have with us Rob Muffet. Welcome. So here we have the pieces. We'll be taking a closer look at the pieces. Here we have the cards. And I think this is like an optional chart for one of the variants that we will see. The game includes these cloth bags, 2 cloth bags. This came out of the box, these discs that have numbers. So I don't know if this is a random element or anything. I haven't read the rules. I wanted to do the unboxing before anybody else did it, but so that's the downside. And we have this die, which comes extra in a different bag. So let's take a look first at the rules, and that way when we look at the rest of the components, they make some sense. So here we have the rule book, and we have one of our recent winners, Michael Mellon from Annapolis. Welcome. And thanks for the thumbs up. Michael, did you get the game finally? Did it arrive? Okay, here we go. Saigon 75, this is the rule book. It's full color. It's, let me see if I can, okay, there we go. So you see it's full color, well laid out. The font is pretty big. On this side, we have like a little introduction. Chronicle of a Foretold Death. In Spanish, we say Crónica de una muerte anunciada. It's a famous phrase in Spanish. You see there. And you see there the historical background, a summary of the components and sequence of play. So you see there's event cards. And there's a special rule for the last turn, turn 8 of the game. And Michael, yes, you got it. So you're wrestling with the rules. Okay. glad it arrived. Okay. It's that game that I know Wing Leader, which the aircraft are flying sideways. You have to wrap your head around that. Okay. Now we have here the components and setup. So you have a nice listing there. And you can see now when we see the pieces, we got the NV forces. We got 14 NV divisions, which is that long, elongated, what do you call that shape? I don't know. You see, we've seen it in other games, in coin games. Oh, yeah, you fly sideways. Okay, great. Now we have here NV reduced divisions, and it's pretty, I like that. The full division is the tall, elongated piece. The reduced division's like half the piece. And then you have VC battalions, which are like reduced, but they're in a different color. You have the Kuyet Thang markers. I don't know what those are. Then you have the wooden arrows, infiltration markers, which are nice. Activation markers. So you're going to have to be activating spaces here. You have the battle dice and objective tokens. Now let's take a look at the ones for the South Vietnamese forces. And we have 11 South Vietnamese divisions. So the North Vietnamese have more. There's 11 reduced. Then you have Ranger battalions. These are South Vietnamese Rangers, Marine brigades, paratroop brigades, river patrol units, mechanized regiments. You have air support markers, 12. And I think one of the things I read about this game is that the objectives, the South Vietnamese want to get the U.S. involved, at least with air support. So I think that's why you have 12 of those. Activation markers, and then you have the battle dice, yellow, and air attrition dice in white. And then there's some common components that we can see up here. 1 6-sided die, turn marker, and event cards. So those are basically the pieces there. We have initial setup, place additional units, and then you have something that it's really nice in, I know not all games have this, but you have a complete spread here, 2-page spread with the map laid out and where the pieces start. That's always nice to help you set up the game. So you have how the game would look when it is set up and the perspective there. And well, I'll place the map like that. I won't be setting it up today, but I'll place the map. And there's a deck of event cards. And here we see, for example, the turns and phases summarized there. So you have the NV. It's an asymmetrical game. You can see it already by the structure of the turns. And I don't know how long this game took to develop. I saw it this year at the Bellotacon. So I don't think it's a derivative of a coin game. You'll see because of the cards. Okay. So here you see the structure of the turns and phases, and you see the MVA player determines unit availability, event cards, moves, results combat, and checks province control. And then look at all the stuff the South Vietnamese player has to worry about. You got unit availability, event card, move units, resolve combat, check province control. And then you have to test for desertion. There's a lot of people that are bailing out on you. And then recover objective tokens only on turns 3, 5, and 7, and check victory conditions. So that's basically the turn structure. In this next page here, we see this is determining unit availability. Then the rule book goes by the order of turn structure. You have the event cards and how they look. We'll be taking a look at the cards. They're color-coded. I don't know what the colors mean, so. And we have here movement, stacking, okay. Stacking is 5 units from the same side maximum. Here we have combat, and we have a combat example there. The nice thing about these combat examples from my perspective is that when I do a video, I can do that combat example, and I'm guaranteed 100% that I won't screw it up unless the designer screwed up, which has happened. Sadly, I have to inform that. And then I have to fix it. And then I have to say it doesn't match the example in the book. Well, it is what it is. Here we have combat. I think we started combat here. So you have the procedure for combat. There's, of course, retreats. And you have the die that gives you the result. Here we see the dice results, no result. Casualties has the crosshairs there. The running guy is the retreat result. So you have an example there. So there's no combat results tables here. You just roll dice and apply the results. And here we have another example. So this is an example of combat with retreat there. Okay. And we have also down here another example. So it's seems to me pretty well illustrated. You could do a video just on the examples. We have air unit attrition. We have province control checks. At the start of the game, all the provinces in South Vietnam are under South Vietnamese control, but you have to be checking for province control and desertion. So you have the desertion procedure, and you have the desertion example. Photograph there. Then we have objective tokens, and these come only into play in 3 turns. Turns 3, 5, and 7. Special turns, special rules for the last turn of the game. Then we check for victory conditions. And here we have a solo mode. We have rules for playing solo. And when you play solo, you take control. I believe here, you take control of the South Vietnamese. And the North Vietnamese are the bot here. So you have all these rules for the North Vietnamese, what they'll do. These cover another page here. And we reach up to here. And then we have a first turn example of play. So it's well illustrated, many examples, and I know there's more examples to come. This is the back part, which has the credits there, and I always like to show the credits in my video. So this is a French company, and I'm looking for the chief, the boss. The boss is not there. And I interviewed him at the Bellota Con. So, oh boy. And so that's the back part of the rule book. And now we have the playbook. We'll go a little faster, this one. But in the playbook, we have a historical article here that begins the first page and continues page 3, 4, and then you have an explanation of the event cards, the context. So you have additional information from that which is in the card. And this is always a nice touch, because sometimes you have a doubt of if you're applying a rule well, and this gives you more context, and you can understand the purpose of the way the procedures in the cards are made that way to cover a historical event. And then we have an example of play. So this is a good candidate for a video here. You have an example of play that I think covers a couple of turns. NV player phase, turn 1, then we have a turn 2 here. So make an interesting little video, and it'll show you the mechanics. We have the sequence of play again, and then we have a summary of special capabilities of each of the units. So now let's lay out the map. So the map is I think it's a square. Well, it's a rectangle. It's a rectangle, but it's a little bigger than 11 by 17. I'm sure it's going to be in millimeters, which I don't understand much. So here we have the map. And we're looking at the map from the perspective of from Cambodia and Laos. So up here we have North Vietnam, and we have Cambodia and Laos here, or Laos and Cambodia. And then we have the provinces that are in play here. And there's going to be units coming in from Laos and Cambodia, the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Well, it used to be the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I don't think it was just I don't think it was called that in this campaign, in this conflict. But here we have, when you look at the map, it has a picture of the starting units there. So you see here in Pleiku, you have, I think those are 2 Viet Cong units, and I still haven't memorized what the orange unit is. So you have a picture of the units that start the game there. You have a desertion table here. So at least they won't desert in turn 1 through 5, but they start deserting in turns 5 onwards. And the game brought this particular, this is like an addition or a kind of cutout that you place up on top of this, because for a particular option, if you're playing here with a game variant. So I think this is what it is, unless this is like you may use these activation tokens. No, this is the rule for the activation token. So I wonder if this is an errata sheet and what is different. I think what's different is the column 15 plus. You have 1d6 plus 6 on the board and 1d6 plus 3 on the little insert here. So got to find out what this is. So let's take a look at the pieces here. And we got the dice here. So we got 5 dice. We got the nothing result, crosshairs, which is a hit, and retreat. So I guess the North Vietnamese are going to be rolling these. And I wonder if they are the same. For example, in the red die, I see 1, 2 crosshairs, and 2 retreats. In the yellow die, I see only 1 crosshair and 2 retreats. So yes, the South Vietnamese don't have a lot of fight in them, apparently. And then you have this air attrition die, where you have 4 sides that have the picture of a jet and 2 sides that are blank. So those are the dice. Now we go to the game pieces. The game pieces come in a bag, like so. Okay, so here we have, these are South Vietnamese. These are the divisions. Are these divisions? Yes, because these are the reduced divisions. So these are the divisions. They have a star on one of their sides, an embossed star. So these are the South Vietnamese divisions. These would be the North Vietnamese divisions. There's 14 of these, 11 South Vietnamese divisions. Then we have here the gray cubes, mechanized regiments. We have the orange cubes there. These are Ranger battalions, which are 6. We have just like a purple. Marine brigades are 4. So all these are South Vietnamese forces, and these are the shorter types. And here we have our arrows, and we have the air support markers. See them there, the jets, they're black. And here we have some stars here. So these stars look like the Huyet Thang markers, which I have no idea what that means. And we have this white marker, which is the turn marker. Big white marker. And here we have some more small cubes. These are like black. These must be like the VC battalions they look black here to me. There's some blue ones. River patrol units or Marine brigades? There's 4 Marine brigades. And the greens are paratroop brigades. So you gotta memorize those colors. And we have these cubes, which this must be something extra, because I don't see anything in the description there. This may be a bonus material that came with the Kickstarter. This is a Kickstarter that I supported. So it talks about the cloth bags. So there's a particular procedure here of using activation tokens, and this looks like that to me from experience playing games and stuff. And here we have the cloth bags. So the cloth bags came outside of the box, so that's why it's I think they're the Kickstarter. And these may be activation tokens. I don't know. They're not in the rulebook either. These came outside of the box. So there's an activation system there, an alternate activation system, which I have to learn about. And now we have to look at the cards. That's what's left here. It's a card game. And let's see, here are the cards. Here we have the back of the cards, which is the cover of the box. And we see these like event priority cards. These look like, I think these are cards for the solitaire version to move the North Vietnamese, which are the ones that appear here. So this is the North Vietnamese bot that uses these cards. A total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. So you have what they do and priorities. You see the colors, they change. And they use the scheme of the traffic lights everybody's familiar with. And now we have the event cards. We have some in yellow, must pertain to the South Vietnamese. And it's they get an extra battle die here. Ammo shortage. The NV player, North Vietnamese, has to subtract 1. So these are good for the South Vietnamese. These yellow cards, airstrikes. You have strategic redeployment, intelligence, stubborn resistance. During the next combat phase, the South Vietnamese player ignores any retreat results. So that's good. So stay on the map for a while. And here we have these green cards, limited offensive. No combat allowed. I wonder if these are like neutral. Tropical rainstorm. And we have armored support. Here we have, these are like in a reddish color, so these are good for the North Vietnamese player, armored support. We have Viet Cong attack, paralyzed leadership, Ho Chi Minh directive, corruption. A lot of bad things for the South Vietnamese player in this game. Diversion, evacuation, poor morale, Viet Cong infiltration, uprising, and mountaineers revolt. So that there's a lot of cards for the 12 cards for the North Vietnamese player. And I think there's like 8 or no less, 6 for the South Vietnamese, and 2 that look like neutral, that anyone can play them. So that is the cards in the game, and that's the unboxing. Oh, you haven't seen the map, this part of the map here. You have a summary of the activations, and I wonder if there's just on that side. So you roll a die, and you add a number of die rolls. So let's say we're in turn 3. What we would do, we roll a die, and the result 4, you add 3, or you add 4 to the result, and that's the number of activations you have to a maximum of 10, because the most you can roll is a 6. So that's how activations are resolved. So it's random. You never know how many activations you're going to get. You have them in French and in English here. You have a summary of the player phase, and you have the turn record track here. Special turn 8 rules, which I don't know what they mean, but there's a special turn at the end of the game. And we have on this side, again, the phases of the game. And the same activation. This is the side for the player, which is sitting over here. So that is Saigon 75, published by Nuts Wargames. And very nice production, very interesting topic. And I'm looking forward to doing a couple of videos on the game. And I hope that you guys stick around. I intend to do this more often, like using these examples that we have on these games. We can do short live videos, which I think can be interesting and useful. And we have also William from Kitchener, Ontario, and Glen Sweet. And we've reached the end of this unboxing unannounced video. So I want to give all of you thanks for showing up. And like I always say, this is Stuka Joe signing off for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.